So today I'm sharing on interesting topics. So first of all, sexiness in terms of being a conscious meditative person. And also from Spirit Rock, there's a man named Jack Kornfield, and it's like helping us get in touch with our meditation like as our interpretations. So first of all, I am embodied feminine sexual being. So this is the topic of sexiness. I didn't make this body, but it was given. Sexual energy is pure, clean, and natural. And in Judaism, we say it's from the Holy of Holies. It's God's throne. That's where new worlds, new life comes from. So it's my private realm with whomever I invite or myself. It's acceptable to enjoy feeling enjoyed, and my sexuality is allowed to evolve. It's okay to witness others being uncomfortable with my sexuality and not change for accommodate them in any way. And I'm not a body. It's going to feel off-putting to be treated like I'm not more than a body. And I don't have to carry the burden of my parents' confusion or repression anymore. And even while feeling punished can make the sexual relationship feel more intimate, it's not a requirement, a necessity of a mature, developed sexual identity, and can even be a sign of acting out unhealthy intimacy if the only accessible path to arousal requires or needs humiliation, subservience, or violation. It's normal to want to explore the taboo and counterculture of sex was treated like it was wrong. There's a strong attachment that could persist, but it's through guilt, shame, or regret that's around sexual behavior or sexual conduct. And however, we can find balance between wanting and being wanted, and inherently and knowing that you are inherently worthy, and whether or not we convince someone of that and we're desirable. Sex can be scary and fun at the same time. Sex is sacred and holy, as mentioned, and if it makes sense to desire to bridge a gap with someone that's making me a other in a sexual way, because tension of opposites creates newness once it dissolves into unity, and seeking resolution and harmony is instinctive and innocent. Losing virginity isn't necessarily what it feels like to be penetrated the first time in this lifetime, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience. I didn't give my pure piece of me to this person that I was with. Feminine energy can be sexually transmitted. It's nurturing, incubating, home and protection, nourishes, and there's an innate pleasure in mastering something that doesn't have to be mistaken for an object or a noun, or, for example, a person, when it's more of a state of being or a verb, like surfing a sensation more deeply or for longer duration. And unconscious desires and instincts expressed to the conscious through symbols, and so it's not necessary to judge or fetishize when we can instead, by interpreting, participate through contribution. In other words, the idea, these glimpses, these silhouettes of ripped clothes, arching back, licking lips, grabbing. This is the symbols of desire and expressing instinctively, whether it's not exactly necessary. It's contributing rather than judging or needing it to look exactly like that. Instead of self-consciousness, the energy of conscious focus can be transformed to a balance of conscious and unconscious focus, which is where we interpret the symbols from the partner and also offer our symbols. It's like a language of aligning desire. We're still having friction due to the complete lack of definite or boundaried interaction when in a conscious space that the unconscious can flow in and out of. And with all things, sexual limits have to be honored and respected, or it becomes destructive and draining. Enough is enough. When we pretend we like something that we don't in order to be good enough, it's not necessarily when we're rooted in connection to our body state and mind state and trust the information they provide us enough to let it guide us, without which we'd need external guidance and affirmation, and react to inappropriate expectations with overcompensation. It can take more time to grow into an adult body than it takes to grow an adult body, and we're allowed to take breaks and change our mind the same way we can with a meal or a show that we like. A natural place to stop is when we lose interest. Sex can be a safe container to release repressed sexuality that comes from not being allowed to be desired and desiring. And foreplay can be anything that inspires us and makes us feel excited. And I use the word inspire because the spirit coming in is what makes sex holy. It's a spiritual level of bonding unity. And from the other, whoever, other spirit, because spirit is one. And my sexuality, my sexual conduct is most aligned when it supports my unique giftedness in all aspects of my life, rather than takes away from my full expression of self, or it hinders me. And now I'm going to go into interpretations from Jack Kornfield from Spirit Rock. So body temple is a reproduction altar. Being of light to more light equals light that never ends. It's the most important thing ever. And I thought about the Invisible Woman and the Lubavitcher Rebbe are my parents' archetypes. The daddy wanted desperately to be holy, he wanted to be like the Rebbe, and my mother wanted desperately to be independent. But the heart, heart, it takes love, it asks for help, it admits to being broken, it accepts support, being touched and moved, aka receptive and affected. It changes adaptively. It's like an adaptivity, and it learns how to not judge as good and bad and listens to advice, like lean into it with the heart. I love myself, and I don't have to do any better than exactly how I'm doing. I'm doing my best because I have a loving God who loves me, and the long-term goal can be, like, the thesis can be a short paper or a book. Like, we have to look at it like that. I love this body and the magic carp ride and regeneration of life in a moment-by-moment way. The silent one who teaches is to gaze with love. The heart has an untouchable freedom. We don't know, but we think, or we shouldn't, and it's like a catfish. Language sounds like opponent. Like, the catfish is like the one that wants to be more beautiful or more desirable than it is, going to be by the one that it thinks of as other. So we have to consider all phenomenon to be a dream, and the world seems solid enough and unchanging. Our brain has this anti-jitter function that's like a camera stabilizer, or like those CD players that had the shake reduction. The pixels of our eyes are constantly getting information as they move around, and reality structures can be empty, tentative, fleeting, flimsy, quickly becoming dinosaurs, like outdated, and swift moving. We love unconscious and making stories. So we are the loving awareness stream. I am that, and I get to live in it. And when we're locked in the phone booth with a lunatic, we don't have great ideas of how it's supposed to be. Rather than casting judgments and brooding over them, we can instead offer respect and decency. We can become the medicine, whether it's to be kind, humble, generous, appreciative, established in compassion, or the truth. It's like a human civilization to be grateful for everyone. Everyone matters. We support each other. To live in joy and peace, even among the troubled. To live in health, even among the afflicted. To live in joy, in love, even among those who hate. We can quiet the mind, tend the heart, and free from fear and attachment, and know the sweet joy of living in the way. We don't have to expect a standing ovation or because we're supposed to do something to be noticed. What will love have me do today could be like a prayer. And there's this timeless awareness in this body consciousness, and that's where our playfulness comes from, to live in the truth in a deep inner freedom and still stand up for what matters. Even in the game, there could be rules, And this is all about the tender, courageous heart. The courage means there's fear, so the tender, it doesn't become hard. It doesn't have a guard up all the time. And it's super hard to let go of people, and not, love is still constant and non-attachment, all pervading. And, this is what I learned from this Instagram account called You Are Luminous. Like, there's an embodied attachment, which is like the conditioning, the fears, the outdated contracts, obligations, codependency, addictions, wounds of abandonment, loss, betrayal, lack of self-worth, how I was supposed to connect to my childhood dysfunction when I wasn't safe to be me. And it can be carried for generations or through lineages, but it's okay to leave things behind, and also it's okay to be left behind. And I'll stop there and wish you a blessed day.